What up, tubers? Bunny here, and welcome back to GeoFlight Simulator. So this week, I'm going to be talking about the Douglas DC-3. So here's the plane. This is one of the first passenger aircraft ever built and flown. Actually, I think it might be like of a second generation of passenger aircraft. I don't know off the top of my head. But yes, this is an early passenger airliner. Built by the Douglas Corporation, later known as McDonnell Douglas, and even later bought by Boeing, but that's another story for another day. So yes, this is what it looks like. This is one of the aircraft that Xavier Tassin, the developer of GeoFS, added to the game. So if I open up the aircraft menu, it is right here, underneath the Lockheed P-38 and the McDonnell Douglas MD-11. Actually, if you load up the aircraft menu as is, it'll be the bottommost aircraft that you can see on the list without having to scroll down. So, this is what it looks like. The livery that you see on this aircraft is the livery that you get. There are no additional liveries that Xavier has added to this aircraft. Though, actually, fun fact, this is not the first livery that the aircraft has had. I think I've got a picture of the plane wearing its older paint job. Let me show you that picture. So this is what it used to look like. This is what it looks like now. It's a lot shinier. You might notice the metal shining as the light reflects off of the plane here on high noon on this Bahama island. Where am I right now, by the way? This is, I believe this is Bimini Bay. It's, I'm assuming it's a Bahama island anyway. Yeah, I think so. But it's just on the opposite side of the Straits of Florida from Miami. Like, literally, here's the international airport right here. So, yes, this is what the aircraft looks like now. There are no additional liveries that you can choose from. And there are no community contribution versions of this aircraft either. Okay, so this plane has one animation to it. If you hit the X key, a passenger door open. X. Duh, I think I hit the S key. I think I just pitched up for a moment. No, if you hit the X key, you notice that back hatch opens. Hit the X key again, and it closes. And you can kind of briefly see, well, not anymore, but you could briefly see the cabin, the passenger cabin. Now, there are no cam views inside the passenger cabin. And I'll get to cam views in a moment, but there is one that is named in such a way that it kind of deceives you a little bit. There is no function animation, so if I hit F, all I did was paid respect. Now, the flaps on this aircraft are kind of interesting, because unlike the other aircraft I mentioned, the flaps don't, like, extend the wing back another foot or two. Like you might notice on newer aircraft, how the flaps extend out of the back of the wings. These flaps just come down from the bottom of the wing. And actually, if I go into a top-down view like this, if I deploy the flaps, okay, I just dropped the flaps to full, but you notice the wing didn't appear to change from the top. Alright, so let me give you a look at this girl's belly. That sounded so inappropriate, but whatever. It's kind of hard to see from this angle, but maybe you notice signs that there are some, what look like some panels, these square panels on the underside of the wing and the underbelly. Well, those are the flaps. So if I go ahead and drop them down, yes, you notice they just came down. And yes, because these flaps are underside panels, they can extend into the aircraft's underbelly. Something you can't really do with newer aircraft. But yeah, if I go onto this side of the wing and drop the flaps, you notice, yes, there's the flaps dropping right there. Okay, so yes. This is the flaps for this aircraft, and there are actually 3 flap settings. I'm going to load up the gauges so you can see them. I'll cover those in a sec. But there is 1/3 flaps, 2/3 flaps, and full flaps. Those are the 3 settings for this aircraft. Now it has no spoilers to it, so the flaps will have to act as drag once you touch down, or if you want to slow down in midair. So these gauges. Well, most of the gauges are similar to what you find either on all aircraft or on the smaller propeller-powered aircraft. Like at the far right, you see the tachometer. That is typical of most propeller-powered aircraft in the game. The vertical speed indicator is typical of propeller aircraft as well. Altimeter and compass, those 2 are typical of all aircraft. All aircraft have those. Speedometer is also typical of slower aircraft. However, its green, yellow, and red zones are calibrated to this aircraft's performance. Like you might notice that the green region starts at around 60 knots. This will be the speeds at which the DC-3 will finally be able to take off the ground. But the white region indicates speeds that the aircraft can fly, like during descent if you got flaps full. The nav ball also is typical of the smaller propeller-powered aircraft. Now at the far left, you might notice this gauge here. It says turn coordinator on the gauge. Basically it shows you how hard you're going left or right. So if I apply like 50% throttle, let it get to speed, but then I'll work on realigning my aircraft at the center line of the runway, and I'll show you what happens. Okay, so I'll cut the engines now. I'm going to turn left. You notice how the gauge turns left and how the little plane rolls left and right like that? Yes, it basically tells you how hard your aircraft is moving left and right. So let me go ahead and stop. Maybe I can have myself stopped perfectly sandwiched between the landing zone? No, nope. Not really. Okay. So as soon as this plane comes to a stop, and there we go. So I think now I can go ahead and jump into the cockpit. Oh, before I do, if you notice the view of the cockpit from outside, there are 2 people depicted in there. The DC-3 is one of only a few aircraft total in GeoFlight Simulator where a person, or 2 people in this case, are depicted as part of the aircraft. However, if I go into the cockpit view, which I will do now, and it will take a moment for the cockpit to load up, but there we go. You might notice that nobody's on board. Just me, your friendly captain. I was thinking what other adjectives I might use to describe me, but I'm not sure we want to go there. So, yes, this is what the cockpit looks like. Typical of old-fashioned propeller-powered aircraft. Let me start up at the top as long as I got my camera focused up here. So you see these 3 switches. Basically, these are animated to be the engine switch. But if I go ahead and turn the engine off, you notice all 3 switches go down like that. So yes. So let me direct your attention down here to the yoke and also this general area right here. This will be most of the functioning stuff of the aircraft. But here's the yoke. You can turn it left, turn it right. I expect to see that kind of yoke on like a boat or something. You can pitch up, or that was pitched down. This is pitching up. This is pitching down. You might also notice foot pedals down here. And they actually animate when you yaw left or yaw right. Oh, also right here, this is a flaps indicator. 1/3, 2/3, and full. You might notice that dark yellow bar that fills up as you apply more and more flaps. Yes. So it's got that animation to it. Right here, once again, is your turn coordinator. tells you your bank angle. Over here is your airspeed, your speedometer, and of course all these gauges, of course, are depicted, modeled to look like what they would actually look like in a real DC-3. You got your altimeter, your climb indicator. I think that is the nav ball. Over here you've got the tachometer and some other gauges that are mainly just affected whenever you turn the engine on and off. And you got similar speedometer, climb indicator, all that jazz over there on the co-pilot side of the... Oh, and here's your compass. Here's your compass. And right now we are facing west. Alright, I'm going to turn the engine back on for a moment. And you will notice these three sets of levers here on the center of the cockpit. So if I go ahead and turn it on, you notice the white knobbed stick has pulled back some. Now, if I go ahead and apply throttle, you will notice that as I increase the throttle, the black knobbed stick will come forward, but so also will the red knob stick. However, okay, so you notice as I throttled up, the red stick just kind of went all the way forward like that. Oh, and you notice on the black knobbed sticks are T for throttle. So let me go ahead and back it off. So you saw me throttle down, and it was only the black. It was only the black sticks that moved back. So yes, actually if I go ahead and turn the engine off again, okay, so I think I should be stopped again. So if I increase throttle, only the black stick moves forward. Decrease, the black stick moves back. Simple as that. So as far as I can tell, I have not been able to detect any other, whoa, holy crap, I've drifted off the runway, and I'm still moving? Okay, I've stopped. So anyway, as I was saying, that's pretty much everything to the cockpit. As far as I can tell, nothing else is really animated on this aircraft. Alright, so there are 3 extra camera views to this aircraft. This one being wheels. If I had the gauges for a moment, this is what you get. You can kind of notice that the camera is kind of clipped into the aircraft right now. That's not really a problem once you get into the air. The next one is a wing cam. So you're sitting here on the wing of the plane and you're locked into this position, though you can zoom forward and backwards. Whoa! This camera view is good for like if you want like an onboard camera, but like fixed on the plane, that kind of stuff. Alright, so this third one is called the cabin view, but it's deceptive because, well, you're really getting a view of the wing of the plane. There really is no actual animated, there is no modeled interior that you're looking at when you're on this camera. So, okay, so, whoa, am I at the other end of the runway? Let me reset the flight, turn the engine off, and, okay, let me bring the gauges back here. So, last thing I want to do before I take off, let's see, I must be far enough inland where I'm not splashing into the drink over there. Pretty beach right there, though, isn't it? But anyway, I have unmuted the sound, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the engines on. I will let you hear what this thing sounds like, and then once I do that, I'll proceed to show you how to take off and fly this thing. So here we go. Alright, so we are up to speed. So let me go ahead and throw up. And one thing you're going to notice is that the pitch of the engine sound doesn't actually go up as slowly. It'll just get a little louder, that's all. Observe. aircraft will come to a stop, you notice that this aircraft takes months to bring. Oh, you know what? There we go. If I mute it again, I can save myself from having to yell over the sound of the aircraft. But yeah, that's pretty much what this thing sounds like. So let me show you how to take off. So what you do, set your flaps to 1/3, so the first setting. Throttle up. Once you get rolling, release the parking brake. Drop from the sky like that for whatever weird reason. Alright, so at about 50 knots, so in 2 seconds, the aircraft's going to go level. Like this. You see how the tail kind of went up? Okay, 60 knots, I can take off. And actually, I'm already taking off, and I didn't even hit any controls. That's odd. But yes, you take off, get to an ascent pitch, like I try to go for 20 degrees. And as you notice, as soon as you take off, you bring the landing gear in. So now I'm going to tuck the flaps in this aircraft. And there we go. We are airborne. We are flying. So, as for mid-flight performance of this thing, this is not suitable for barnstorming. Like I'm rolling right. You notice it takes a while to roll. I think I could probably do a loop-de-loop in this thing, but I would need to be traveling at higher speeds to achieve that. And that's not exactly something that you want to try. Yeah. Stunts are not really a good idea in this aircraft. But it's decent for slow passenger air travel from point A to point B. Like, this would probably be a suitable aircraft for getting from Bimini Bay, whatever you want to call this island, over to Miami Beach. Maybe I'll make it there, maybe I won't. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and turn around and... Oh, as long as I'm in the air, let me show you the wheels view. Alright, so you notice the camera is no longer clipping through the belly of the aircraft. So, I no longer have to worry about that. So, let me go ahead and get back into follow cam. So, I'm cruising around 120 knots right now. It's a good climbing cruise speed. My engine's still at full power. Let's see, if I level off, I should be able to achieve higher speeds. So, yes, I would say 160, 170 knots is about your cruising speed in this aircraft. There's a reason that Jet Power wrote these propeller aircraft off as outdated because, well, they're a bit slow. Yeah. Okay, so I'm at 160 knots. It's about between here and 180 that I am at cruising speed right now. Actually, now that I got myself to cruising speed, let me go ahead and turn right, and we can head back to the airport, and I can show you how to land this thing. So hopefully the game doesn't crash on me right there. It was saying something like, "Hey Bonnie, you want me to want the rendering to quit on you while you're flying so that you can I don't know, maybe have to restart at some point or something." Alright, so I'm coming on descent. I'm gonna bring my engine power down to oh, you know what? Before I get landing, I want to show you the wing flex on this aircraft. Alright, so my camera is fixed. This is one of only a few aircraft that actually have this special wing flex to it. So if I pull up, you might notice the wings bend up. If I pitch down, you see the wings bend down like that. There you go. Just like that. Yes, so you should have been able to have gotten a good view of that. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my engine to 50%. Let's go ahead and I think I'm gonna do like a loop-de-loop. I might go into just a bit of a glide here to bleed off some of my speed, and then I will, once I take care of that and am at a lower altitude, then I'll go ahead and try to come in for a landing. I can show you how to land this thing. Alright, so I'm beneath 2,000 feet now. I should be lining up for the runway. There it is. So what you want to do for landing is I'm going to apply 2/3 flaps as I begin my approach. I'm going to actually cut the engine because I'm coming in a little hot. So these flaps will provide you lift, but also drag to help you slow down as you begin your final approach to the airport. Once you are lined up, then you can bring your flaps to full. Also, while you're getting yourself set up, you can go ahead and bring the gear down. This will provide extra drag to your aircraft. Alright, so I'm going to apply 40% throttle, bring the flaps down to full. I'm now coming in on final for this runway. Let me come in for a landing. Wait, are there no PAPI lights on this runway? Interesting. Okay, well, we don't need PAPI lights where we're going. Ha! So I'd say between 60 and 80 knots is your ideal landing speed. So I might actually throttle up to 50%. You can land this plane as hard as you want. You don't have to butter the bread like I'm doing here as a total show-off. Alright, so I should be, yep, beneath 50 knots. The tail section is coming back down. What just happened right there? I don't know. Alright, now that I'm beneath 40 knots, I can bring the flaps in, and you know what? Apply the brakes. We can come in and come to a stop. And that is how you land the Douglas DC-3. So yes, as you can see, it takes this plane months to come to a stop once you apply the brakes. So you will need a bit of a runway to safely stop. This, however, begs the question, can I land on the aircraft carrier? The answer is yes. So, the idea with landing on an aircraft carrier, as well as any short runway for that matter, is you want to land as slow as possible, as early as possible, and use everything within your power to come to a stop. So you notice I brought my flaps down to full right away. I've got engine set to 50% to maintain my speed so that I don't stall out. My gears are down for a little extra drag, and I also enabled the parking brake so that as soon as I touch down, and I'm not going to try to butter the bread on this landing because I don't have that luxury because the runway is too short. However, yes, it is possible to land the DC-3 on the aircraft carrier. Actually, I think I'm going to bring it down to 40% throttle. And I think now I'm going to set the engines to idle. And, alright. So I want to be careful. If I allow this thing to pitch forward, that would be a very bad thing. Well, it would cause my aircraft to yeet off the edge of the deck. And cause me to respawn my aircraft on the same approach to the carrier, but now with an added 30 knot headwind to simulate the carrier actually moving. Though you see the big-ass waves out in the ocean right there. I wonder, are they crashing against the Golden Gate Bridge? It doesn't really look like it. Oh well. Yes, I'll actually be covering the Golden Gate Bridge. You see that in the distance? Yep, that's the Golden Gate Bridge. I'll cover that in a couple of weeks. But for now, let me see if I can actually land this damn plane on the deck. So yes, once again, land as slow as possible, as early as possible, and use everything within your power to come to a stop, which in my case are drag and parking brakes. Lousy, crappy parking brakes that make me wonder if whether or not it's actually effective enough to use the parking brakes, or if I should just let my aircraft roll to a stop. Anyway, the speedometer suggests I'm going 70 knots, when in reality I'm going 40 knots. So yes, this is actually without this headwind, I should be stalling out at this point. Oh boy, I'm actually getting close to stalling out. I don't want to do that. But yes, the needle will actually point at 30 knots when I do finally come to a stop. But yes, I can stop this plane on the carrier. It just requires these movement simulation is all. That's all. In fact, I can go ahead and cut the throttle now. I might stall, that's fine. And let's bring her in, and okay, there we go. Now, don't pitch up too sharply, or else you might lean the aircraft forward and cause it to scrape its nose on the deck, but there we go. I've stopped. I've stopped the plane. And likewise, you can also hit the throttle and get back up to speed and get yourself back in the air. But I think I actually have plenty of room to do it without the need of the headwind. So let me go ahead and take off like I otherwise normally would. Actually, I will apply 2/3 flap. When taking off from short runways, it's ideal to apply just a little bit extra flaps. There we go, 50 knots, I can pull back. There we go! Yes! So there we go. There we go. There we go. I'll bring in flaps to kill some drag, and there we go. And build up some speed, and there we go. I'm flying again. I'm flying. So there we go. That's pretty much everything that I have to say about the Douglas DC-3. I think that just about does it for this week's episode of GeoFlight Simulator. So next week, I'm going to be talking about the Concorde. You'll probably have heard of that aircraft, a supersonic passenger jet. In fact, if I load up the aircraft menu, it's down a little ways between these Lin Z50 and the Sukhoi Su-35. You see it right there? So yes, I will, wrong button. I will cover that aircraft in next week's video. But anyway, that concludes this week's video. So I'm Spacebun. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. See you all next week. Sierra Bravo 717 checking out.